Welcome back to Dog Radio, our second competitor in the final, Bill Davidson, working his dog. Pake?
Jake.
Jake. Barry, apart from his trialling experience, what do you know about Bill?
Not much. I've only associated with Bill in trialling, but he is employed, I think, by the Department of Agriculture. I think he's involved in breeding cereal breeds, new cereal breeds for the primary industry. They're stationed, I think, in Tamworth or up that way. Pretty good trialer, a very good dog handler, puts a lot of time in training.
And it's paid off for him, obviously.
Oh, yes. They tell me before he goes to work, he's up before daylight and gets his dogs out and gives them a run around with the sheep, and then again when he comes home from work, he's pretty dedicated. A nice quiet fellow. And his little dog there, nearly all white.
He had a reasonable lift after a double move on at the end of the cast.
Yes.
But where he's got them now, it's almost on the corridor line, so it'll be very easy to judge the 4 metres either way. They're starting to come up nicely now. Keep them on that line, Bill.
The sheep are not content to walk, really. They're milling a lot, aren't they?
They are indeed. And stopping to eat as well.
Yeah, yeah.
They take some pushing.
Yes, they are. But this stretch is where the dog and the sheep sort of set a pattern of getting along. By the time they come up to the handler, the dog should have the sheep settled down and walking. Or used to the fact that they have to just keep walking.
About 4 metres from the delivery area, still having to be pushed along.
Yeah.
They won't start walking.
And it could be the same sheep that's all the time facing the dog too.
Yes.
And of course the dog in this sport isn't allowed to rush in and bite the sheep. He's only allowed to bite if he's defending himself, if the sheep are attacking him. And then he must only nip and let go.
Yeah, yes.
And otherwise it's disqualification.
In the delivery area, Bill's decided to move straight away.
Yep. This is pretty crucial here, this first 60 or 70 metres where the sheep walk downhill.
Yes. And they should know that at the end of that corridor is where their mates are.
That's right, it's where they came from.
I've heard lots of stories, different views about a white dog. Do you have any particular view on that, Barry?
I think it's pretty well established that sheep don't walk away from a white dog as well as they do a dark coloured dog. and I was in Scotland in 2011 with my son, and we went over to the International Championship.
Yep.
And the trialers over there won't keep a white pup. If there's a white pup in the litter, they kill it. Because they said in the rough country that exists in particularly Scotland, the dogs have to go down into gullies and bring the sheep. They said the sheep won't walk away from a white dog as well as they do a black dog, dark coloured dog. But for trialling work, there are those who prefer white dogs. But if they're going to fight a dog, they always seem to fight a white dog.
Well, these sheep are accepting the white dog at this stage.
Yeah.
Halfway along the corridor. No
They've settled down, yeah, and as you say, they're walking along accepting the fact the dog is there.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw a dog called Princess Mo work.
Many years ago, yes.
A few years ago, Mo had the uncanny ability to introduce himself to sheep, and he could walk right up their backside, and they'd take no notice of him. And he'd steer them. Crikey, he was a good dog, and they wouldn't be getting fussed at all. He's a very steady dog himself, but and he was pretty near pure white. But boy,
Be interesting to see what the judge makes of that look today.
had his share of trouble there.
Yes,
And I think it's probably the same sheep always, isn't it,
it is.
John?
It is.
Gee,
And
that's
he's
cost
gonna
him some points. A point for every 9 metres travelled, and they've travelled over 100.
And they're going back around the way. This is difficult. If they stay on the fence, the dog may cross. But the judge is in an ideal position where he is in the cart to see them.
Split up like that, like the dog can be trying to work one and the other two can cross the dog.
Yes. That's what happened with Michael a little while ago, Michael Hudson.
That sheep's not going to give up.
And there's the cross.
I think Bill's gone. Yeah,
Yes,
he's crossed.
unfortunately. The reason why the cross is a disqualifying event, ladies and gentlemen, is this. The dogs are by their very nature and training, more by nature, a heading dog. That means their instinctive ability is to get to the head of the sheep and bring them to the worker. So that the theory is that if the dog gets between the worker and the sheep, he's forcing them away against his instinct, and therefore that is a disqualification. But that dog was working very well. There was one obstreperous sheep there who kept on creating a problem all the way up and was reasonably pacified. But then
Davidson
all hell
with
broke loose.
little white dog, and what happened there is that for one split second, that sheep crossed between the dog and the handler. So for a split second of time there, when that sheep doubled back, there was a man, a dog, and then a sheep, and that's a cross. So it's an immediate disqualification.